84 Hoops crew, welcome or welcome back. It's your girl Lils, aka Lily Like the Flower, and we are back with another good conversation about what's happening in the W this week. But before we get into that, make sure you check out my other vlog I just posted simultaneously as this one, all about the Golden State Valkyries, my home team. I'm giving them their own vlog, their own time, their own space, just for me to talk, to rant, to celebrate, to enjoy them exclusively. So go check those out if you're a Valkyries fan, if you've been to Valhalla, if you want to go to Valhalla. All of that exists on here in its own videos. But let's get into what's happening in the W this week. I have my notes and I'm looking at them right now because I don't want to miss anything. I'm not going to talk too deep about a few certain topics that I'm just tired of talking about, but I will bring them up just a little bit. So be respectful in the comments. Choose your words wisely or don't say anything at all. Let's go. So let's start with the LA Sparks. My cousin in my head, my niece in my head, Alyssa Bealey, my Samoan little sis, cousin, is back in the W. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to my Pacific Islanders, my Polynesian massive, my community, my people, my family. Yes. Any professional athletes that I choose to claim that are Samoan, I consider them family. Yes, I do. So Alyssa Peely is back in LA. She actually played a few minutes the other day and immediately made an impact. It was so nice seeing her play, especially against Indiana Fever, which is a tough, high profile game. So for her to get that shine on her was so dope. And I'm just so grateful that she's back. We officially have 3 Samoan players in the league. Pow Pow, Ledger. Let me get her name right because I don't want to mess it up. Connecticut Sun. Let's see. Sun, Ledger Walker. I just got it in my head. Charlize Ledger Walker. Yes. Alyssa Bealey, Charlize Ledger Walker, and of course, Tahina Pow Pow. So, if you've never heard of what a Samoan is, Samoan, because we do have the accent mark above the A, now you know. If you are Samoan, I think I'm going to make a separate vlog about this on my personal channel. But if you have a daughter, especially if they grow up in a stricter environment or culture that are Islander families, and you see she has a skill, allow her to nurture it. I understand chores are important. I understand going to family events and functions is important. But at some point, we have to let them nurture their skills, which is why we continue to have leagues like the W with all these amazing women athletes and just athletes, period, because they were given an opportunity to show up. They were prioritized. They were sent to camps and nurtured and maybe even tortured from all the laps and the running and the workouts. But what I'm saying is that I'm just grateful to see people from my culture. I'm half Mexican, half Samoan. And shout out to Gabriela Jaquez, representing for the Mexicans. It's amazing. I love it. Representation does matter, even for myself at 42 years old. Young. But LA Sparks making some good moves. Kate Martin is officially on the roster. Unfortunately, they did have to make some space, so they cut Tanaya Latson, who was then picked up by the Las Vegas Aces. So we're moving along quickly, guys. So shout out to Tanaya Latson, former Gamecock, is reuniting with her Gamecock, what would you call it, vet, Asia Wilson, who I'm going to get to in just a moment. But stay with me while we're still on this topic of the Las Vegas Aces. So she's on their developmental contract, which is great. I think most rookies should get on a developmental anyway, unless you're very high level, like an AZ. Anyway, I don't want to get into all that. I'm saying for those that aren't going to be immediate starters, rather than just being cut straight out, developmental, okay? Then Asia Wilson was also out with a sprained ankle, so she couldn't play in the Commissioner's Cup, and she also missed the game against the Fever. So they lost both those games, which was unfortunate. But this week, breaking news in the W. The Las Vegas Aces have waived Chennedy Carter. If you follow me on social media, if you watch my shorts, it's making my head itch. You saw me post my reaction in real time because I saw it on Threads and I was like, no. At first, let me break down what happened. I kept seeing people write Chen wave, Chen wave, Chen wave. My heart dropped because I kept thinking, because this is how my Valkyrie's brain works. I kept thinking there's no way that they waved Caitlin Chen. I was like, no. So I got on my Googles, got on my laptop, because if it's on the phone, it ain't real. But if it's on the laptop, it's official, like a whistle. And I got on my laptop. I saw that it was Chennedy Carter. Now, although I was relieved, I was still shocked and just disappointed that that happened, because there were many speculations about her attitude. She was out with a lot of health issues. I don't know if it was real health issues. If it is, I think we should be slow to react on how we report things about her, especially people when they have health issues. But I'm just giving her the benefit of the doubt, because more reports than likely have been about her, just her attitude, her overall attitude. And I hate that that's still plaguing her to this day. So if her health issues were health issues, quote unquote, and her protesting for some reason, it just seems like, and I'm not saying this is the reason she was waived. If it was based on her attitude, I'm blanking on another word I could use right now. But it definitely wasn't about her performance, because she was out there on the verge of a 6-man award, which I actually didn't bring up in my previous vlog about the Valkyries, because now that Chennedy is out of the league temporarily, hopefully, a lot of people are talking about Janelle Salon possibly being in that 6-man position for the end of the year awards. But back to Chennedy Carter. Once I realized it was about her and not Caitlin Chen, I was relieved, but at the same time, I was just like, what's going on? If it was a health matter, prayers for her no matter what. But if it really was about just the way she was showing up or not showing up or responding to authority or coaching teammates, I've seen a lot of posts, I've seen a lot of articles, and everyone just has jumped on the train of it's her attitude, she's her behavior, she's a problem, we warned you, this or that. But there was so much hope for her in the beginning, but it all kind of started when she made that, was it IG or tweet about AZ Fudd? And I'm not saying that was the reason, but I think it did spark this downhill battle, because people were showing how Asia Wilson liked another post that was saying, leave AZ alone. She hasn't bothered anyone. There's no need to pick on her. But I don't know if that was like the domino effect that kind of started all of this, but you just kind of noticed an immediate decline in her performance and her health. And she did get injured at one point. She did actually get injured, but it seemed to have lasted a little longer than they were actually reporting. So we don't really know. All I know is that the Las Vegas Aces and Becky as a unit do not make mistakes when it comes to trades, waivers, anything like that. And with the trade deadline approaching August 3rd, something had to be done. And they've already replaced her with, like I said, Tanaya Latson. And then they got another player from the Indiana Fever. I believe she's a rookie as well. Let me look up her name. Feel free to comment if I'm saying names wrong, or if I'm not mentioning certain people. I have my notes, but I like to just, because I'm not a journalist, not a documentarian. I'm just a fan of the league that, respects the league and the players that are on there, and the players that are on there. And I want to make sure that I'm just doing my best to just relay what I'm reading. Justine Pisot is on the Las Vegas Aces right now. with a standard contract, actually. So we shall see how that turns out for the Aces. And like I said, I'm not going to doubt Becky or any of the staff, the GM, because they're the ones with the rings. We're not. Okay. So before I move on to everyone else in the league, Asia Wilson came back last night. They played the Portland Fire and lit a fire into them because 20 points in the first half, 30 points by the end of the game. Asia Wilson was back as if her ankles were never impacted. It was one of once again one of her best games. She's only getting better and better. So for anyone claiming that she shouldn't be the MVP again is tripping, because she's putting up MVP numbers once again. It is not bad for the league. If she's that good, she's that good. You can't deny it. Work harder. Show up. She's a phenom. And if they want to reward her for that, for working hard, for working hard and doing the work and just being her and having an amazing team to back her up, you can't deny that. Even if I wasn't an Asia fan, or if I wasn't an Aces fan, if I was a fan of basketball watching her play, I'd be like, dang, she's too good. She's too good. But I'm just grateful to be on this side of the coin. So shout out to the Aces, unless you're playing my Valkyries and it's on site. I mean, you can have a good game, but we're out to eat. Okay. So also what happened this week, WNBA All-Star reserves have been announced. And let's get into this. Oh, I just turned on the LA Sparks Chicago game. Rickea Jackson is on the bench for Chicago. I miss her. And we're going to talk about Chicago in just a minute. Okay. If you know, you know. But I wanted to pull up the All-Star reserves because a lot of good choices. Like I said, I would have liked to see a little bit more variety in the starters. I think I mentioned this previously, but I'm going to say it again until someone listens or sees this. But I think All-Star starters should be based on the top 10 teams by the time the Commissioner's Cup either starts or ends. So whatever the standings are for the league, whoever the top 10 teams are, as of like right before the Commissioner Cup championship starts, at that point, what are the standings in the league? Who are the top 10 teams? And then the fans or the coaches, the league can vote one player from each team to fill each different roster spot. Really shake some things up. And then go back to the regular voting rules for the reserves. So let's go to the All-Star reserves and check out who made it, who didn't. Let's go check it out right here. Full roster is, where's the photo? I want to see the photo. Well, anyway, Sonia Citron, Alicia Gray, Ryan Howard, Marina Mabry. Why does she have a little arrow? She has like a little arrow on her name. Oh, because it's her first time going to the All-Star game. That's cute. Kelsey Plum, who is injured and might need a reserve. But we'll talk about that once I name all these people. Courtney Williams, Jackie Young, Kiki Irafin, Jonquil Jones, Dominique Malanga, also her first showing in the WNBA All-Star game. Nneka Ogwumike, her 14th. That's a good number. I like that. That's my favorite number. And Angel Reese are all back in the All-Star game, with the exception of a couple first-timers. Now, I talked about the starters in my last vlog, but let me just break it down one more time. We have Paige Beckers, Caitlin Clark, Olivia Miles, her first time as a rookie, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, Natasha Howard, Jessica Shepard, also her first time, Brianna Stewart, Gabby Williams, go Valks, you see it, go Valks, I hope her back is okay, and Asia Wilson. We love Asia over here. This is the Asia Wilson household. No hate, no slander, ever. Okay? Even when they're playing my Valkyries, I'm always going to show love. But those are your starters. And yeah, I'm pumped. Would I have liked to see more Valkyries on the roster? Absolutely. Would I have liked to see Chelsea Gray on that roster? Absolutely. Would I have liked to see one player from every team on that roster? Abso-freaking-lutely. There's no one from Phoenix. There's no one from Portland. There's no one from, who else? Chicago, the hosting city. Did I miss anyone? Who else did not? We got Washington, Seattle, LA, Atlanta, Minnesota, Toronto Tempo, Golden State, Dallas. Did I miss anyone, guys? Indiana. Oh, Connecticut. No one from Connecticut, Phoenix, and the Portland Fire made the All-Star team this year, which is tough because there's only so many spots, and voting is voting, which is why voting is important, not just for sports, but in general, for your neighborhood, for your city, for your state, for your county, for your country. We all are living in what happens when you don't vote. Fix it. Fix all of this, okay? Gosh. But let's circle back to Chicago. Now, I don't want to give this too much light because I don't know everything that's going on, but Chicago Sky, as a staff, a record label, and does not have the best reputation at all. People keep saying it's allegedly a money laundering scheme. People are saying that they don't care about their Black players. They used Skylar Diggins as a pawn. And speaking of Skylar Diggins, if you follow her on Instagram, which I do, she posted this cryptic message. Well, actually, it wasn't very cryptic. It was very to the point about her not starting and her coming off of the bench. And then following that, she posted this very grainy video. I don't know if that was intentional or if that was just the millennial in her that didn't know how to post a story. But I think the grainy effect made that message even more, pop even more. Like it made it more serious and like intimidating because she didn't have time for perfect. All she had time for was done. And she basically said that, she's been good. She's been quiet this whole time. And, she's been a starter majority of her career. She was on, I think, like a 260 game starting streak. But they told her that she was now going to come off the bench, which I feel like she kind of knew, but I don't think she believed it. But the way Courtney Vandersloot came back from her injury and was talking even while she was injured, saying that, oh yeah, it's great to have all these players, but once I'm back, I'm going to be starting. As if she was the coach or the GM. I wouldn't be surprised if she's trying to be that in the future, but she kind of ruffled a lot of feathers, pissed some people off just by her antics, vet or not. It just it's not coming off the best way. And Skylar Diggins also being a vet and one of my all-time favorite players in the league. It's just interesting how this is all going down, especially towards the end of her career. I'm not saying she's retiring or anything, but for either of them, but I understand that this is a turning point in their careers where you're not guaranteed a lot more playing time. You're not even guaranteed to be on a team. Let's look at I glitched. Let's look at Natasha Cloud, who wasn't on a team the first week of the season, and then until Chicago picked her up. And those are three players that are currently, towards the last few years of their careers, and there's a lot of tough rookies coming into this league and a lot of players that, they're under 5 years in the league that are becoming fierce, taking up a lot of space. And it's not looking good for a lot of these OG vets. But I understand her concern. So she chose to, I like how people were saying she took a sick day. She used her sick leave, and, said her knee is not healthy. So she's been sitting out the past couple of games. Let me check right now to see if she's playing. Oh, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris is at the Sparks game as we speak. So cute. Let me pause that because I do want to watch this game. But Skylar Diggins, Chicago Sky organization are in conflict right now and have been because they did not get off to a good start this season. They're actually not in a good place right now, but they had a lot of injuries. I love their new rookie, um, Townsend, and she's killing it. But ultimately, a lot is happening, a lot is unfolding. Two hot topics this week. I'm not going to talk about the other one anymore that involved a certain Fever player and Mercury player. I made a rule for myself when I started this platform, 84 Hoops Crew. At first, it was all fun and games. I was talking about everyone, the good, the bad, the ugly, the in between. I was giving my reactions, I was giving my feedback, and I learned very quickly that when you use certain names or talk about certain people in this league, and some are my favorites as well, that it comes back with this heavy weight of negativity, this force, this negative force of anger, racism, just demoralizing crap. It's ugly. It's just, I witnessed briefly the ugly side of social media through talking about those certain players. So I made a rule for myself. I said I'm no longer going to talk about her specifically. And when I do talk about Angel Reese, whose name I don't mind saying, it's always going to be out of love because I'm a huge fan of hers. But I do understand that saying her name does come with a lot of attacks, attacks on one's character, on her character. And I don't want to make my platform all about, using my time to defend and block and mute certain people or accounts. So I do limit and have boundaries when it comes to certain players in this league. But as it stands right now, I'm going to say it one last time. When it comes to Caitlin Clark, I know I said I wasn't going to say her name, but I feel like I just need to be clear. I no longer want to talk about her. It's not fun. And there's so much that can be done and said, not just by her, but the backlash that comes with being associated with her is just very negative. And I'm not here to stand up for one player or the other because it does get exhausting. I just pray for their safety and health, and again, their safety. But overall, when it comes to her, I'm just going to stick to my rule that I had from the very beginning, that I won't ever talk about her anymore. And this past week, where I was talking about her, reposting, threading, liking posts, I had a crappy week outside in my personal life. So I just didn't like how I felt on the inside as a result of being so consumed by this news, because now Congress is getting involved. Now people on her team are getting rewarded with shoes, a shoe deal. You know what I mean? So it is very exhausting trying to manage that side. It doesn't mean that I won't have my thoughts or my reactions to any of it. It just means that I don't need to say her name or talk about her to build my brand, because that's not the community that I want to build or base my community off of. So if I just don't bring it up, and this will be the last point, unless it's against my Valkyries, I have to make that caveat. Unless they are playing my Valkyries, I just won't talk about her at all. Point blank, period. And you can unfollow or you can follow if you want, but I just wanted to establish that because I want this space to be a place where you can experience joy, but it's also honest, insightful, and valuable. And I don't feel like bringing up that conversation over and over again is 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 worth giving time to, or feeding that monster. Not her being the monster, but just what her name represents in this country. It's not good. And I really hope she stands up for herself more than she already has, because I'm still confused at where she stands in this whole situation. I don't like it. But that's all I'm going to say on that. I talked about it in a previous vlog a couple weeks back, a couple posts back. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and watch that. But for the most part, the WNBA is hot, hot, hot. Let's check out the standings real quick, because I don't want to skip over the fact that as of today, my Valkyries are tied for first place. Okay. So, first place, we have the Las Vegas Aces, Minnesota Lynx, and the Golden State Valkyries. V's up, V's up, V's up. If the Minnesota Lynx and the Las Vegas Aces win, the Valkyries just fall back half a game. But under them, we have the Dallas Wings, who they just had a great game against the Toronto Tempo. From what I was reading on the highlights, because I was watching the Valkyries game, it was Paige versus Marina all game. So I'm going to go watch some of those highlights after this. But we have Dallas, New York Liberty, Dallas Wings, New York Liberty, Atlanta Dream, Indiana Fever, Washington Mystics, Los Angeles Sparks, Portland Fire in the top 10 as of right now. Beneath them, Toronto Tempo, Phoenix Mercury, Chicago Sky, Seattle Storm, Connecticut Sun. Yeah, the season is picking up. It's only getting better. They're only getting stronger. And I'm so pumped to continue watching. There's games all weekend. There's games. The All-Star game is coming up. It's just a lot happening. We have Asia Wilson's on the cover of Wheaties. I have to get one of those boxes. We have Asia Wilson, Nafisa Collier, and Dewana Bonner are doing an exclusive documentary series with ESPN, which is going to be released this month. I'm so pumped to watch that, because those are three players that will always deserve the limelight, that always deserve the shine. On the court, I'm not really a big fan of Fee, because she's just so good. Okay. And she always beats my Valkyries. No, but she's an excellent player. But it was last year when she stood up to the league and really spoke up for her players and herself, where I became like, okay, I'm down with Fee and everything she represents. I mean, I was a fan of hers, but I joke, and she started Unrivaled with Stewie. She's undeniable. She's great, and I wish her speedy recovery. She's going to be back in a couple of weeks. So the league better button up, get it together, because Fee's coming back. And you too, Valkyries, okay? But tomorrow, New York and Minnesota, I'll cover, these games next week. As you can tell, I'm kind of just sticking to a lot of what's happening on the surface, because I can be talking about this for hours and hours. But if there are highlights or players or moments that happen throughout the league that you want me to react to talk about, I gladly will. I just need to be fed that information, because there's so much that goes on. So follow my short form content. So follow my shorts. That's where I give my in-game reactions in real time, because I just know that I can't cover all of it here on the vlog. But I will. If you suggest it, I'll definitely make a segment. And let me know if you guys want segments. This isn't really a podcast, but it just is me talking about the WNBA, because the more we talk about it, the more that we get eyes and ears looking into this league, the longer it could last, another 30 years. Speaking of, before I go, I'll probably make a separate vlog, maybe like a bonus vlog on this. I'm celebrating 30 years of the Golden. See, all I think about are the Valkyries. I am celebrating the 30-year anniversary of the WNBA by sharing my personal collection of items from the inaugural season that I attended in 1997. I did only attend one game, but I sure did get a lot of stuff that day. And nothing has changed. Every time I go to the Valkyries game, I try to get as much free stuff as possible. So younger me, 12-year-old me is no different from Well, 14-year-old me is no different from me now at 42 years old. But I've been posting on my short form content. And like I said, I'll do a full vlog on this at the end of the month because that's where I want to wrap it up. But throughout this whole month of July, I've been posting just like mini posts about the content. Um, quick, just sharing my collection. So if you're into that, definitely subscribe, leave a comment, share yours, share your collection if you have one, so we can all just keep talking about the W, and show our fandom, show our love for the league and our experiences, because it flies by so quick. Like, I can't believe we're already at the halfway point. But anyway, I'm going to wrap up this conversation and just stay tuned. Maybe I'll start doing daily vlogs. Maybe I'll go live again. I went live today for the first time and that was so much fun. I wasn't able to go live before. So now that I can, game changer. I might just do live streams instead of vlogs moving forward. We shall see. But in the meantime, in between time, it's your girl Lils, and this is the 84 Hoops crew. Let's keep the ball rolling. Thank you for watching yet again. And if you made it this far, what emoji do we want to use? Let's do a let's do the, why is this taking me so long to decide? Let's do a peace sign. Peace sign emoji. Also stands for V's up. Everything Valkyries. But go check out my Valkyries vlog. I do a vlog dedicated to what's happening in the W and one exclusive vlog just for my Valkyries. Because if I talked about them here, that's all I would talk about. So I decided I'm just going to do 2 vlogs a week. It's a bigger commitment, but it's one I'm willing to give and support for myself and you guys. But I'm done freestyling for now. I'm going to go edit these vlogs and I'll catch you guys on the next one. It's 84 Hoops crew. It's your girl Lils. Until the next one, see ya.